Hey y'all, Moses here. Today I want to talk about the newest tool in improving your aim and reaction time in a Battle Royale inspired game trainer. This is Gamer Sensei's Range Royale. This is a purpose-built tool from the guys over at Gamer Sensei who specialize in one-on-one coaching specifically for gaming. Gamer Sensei offers a range of coaches over a bunch of different games, including PUBG. They've made this tool to help you or anyone else you know get into first-person basic mechanics. This game is designed over multiple different styles to improve your basic aiming mechanics. Now, there is a couple of different game modes incorporated into this. There is a basic speed shooter thing where you can kind of flick around with a pistol or whatever other weapon you want. You can also just shoot at regular targets. There's a bot mode, there's a sniping mode, and there's even a zombie mode. All of these things combine to make a relatively fully featured tool for those new individuals coming into FPS games or those just looking to increase their skill from a basic to an intermediate sense. Range Royale is not designed for the advanced user, so I think that's one of the main criticisms that I personally had, is that for me, and when it comes specifically to PUBG, if you're an advanced FPS gamer, you're probably not going to get too much out of the modes other than I think the speed shooter, which is really good for building hand-eye coordination and is very similar to other aim trainers on the market. It's done in a nice way where you can kind of jump into a specific client that you can use on your desktop. So that means you can put it on a laptop or really practice on the go if you wanted to. But you can jump in and use that speed shooter to increase your hand-eye coordination, which I think is really great. But I think this is more designed for those new users. Now, the person that came to mind when I first started playing this was actually my dad. My dad is an older guy, believe it or not, and he has his own gaming computer, and he likes games like Call of Duty and other shooters. He doesn't really get into games like League of Legends, Dota, RPGs. He only plays shooters. But believe me, I've stood behind him and watched him play, and he could really use a tool like this, something that just helps you build that fundamental knowledge of point and click. Even though it might seem easy, for different generations of people, this might be a foreign concept and something that's a little bit harder to grasp. So I think that this game is really designed for those who are looking to just get comfortable with the basics of FPS. Now, there's so many different modes that you can kind of get exposure to different things. You can shoot at moving enemies in the bot mode. You can have kind of a problem solving and decision making mixed with FPS tool in the zombie mode, where consistently harder and harder waves of zombies are coming at you and you have to manage that. And there's also the down the scope sniper mode, which I think would help those who are just not great at sniping. Now, again, in these modes, it's really basic, and I think that as this goes through early access, they'll be able to make it more fully featured. But for the most part, I think that the best tools in this are the two basic game modes where you're shooting speed targets that are constantly appearing and disappearing, and then the regular just shooting range mode where there's body-sized targets popping up downrange. The different weapons included are like the micro Uzi, the SKS, the M416, and the basic pistol. So you do get the basics of recoil control as well, because the M416 does have that first shot recoil that is very similar to PUBG, but doesn't have that full recoil pattern. So you have to kind of get used to that basics of recoil control. And for the SKS and the Kar 98, you're getting that sniping in as well. The pistol, I think, is just more of the basics. I use it for the speed shooter all the time. But I kind of like using this tool to warm up just before I jump into the training mode in PUBG, for instance. I've opened up the speed shooter, just kind of got my brain into that FPS mode with that building your hand-eye coordination, or kind of just getting your brain ready for gaming, jumping into the training mode, and then eventually jumping into a game afterwards. That kind of regimen has really been helpful to me, especially since I've been traveling so much and don't have as much time to play as I used to in the past. Now, a couple of the criticisms I have for this, and some things I hope they change, is adding in a fully featured recoil system, because I think that's something that a lot of players would want. This is a very compact program. You can definitely customize it any way you want. It has very similar options to PUBG when you're trying to, let's say, get sensitivities for certain scopes or find your sensitivity that you're comfortable with. This kind of tool is really, really good for that. So once you're done customizing everything, jumping into the different modes, I would really like to see a little bit more of a challenge or some variety in targets, especially in the bot mode. Very predictable targets in that case. The zombie mode is cool, but again, because of the lack of recoil, you can just laser beam targets over and over and over again, and it's not really that challenging if you're getting better at the tool. So I think that my main criticism was that I would like a bigger difficulty curve as the game goes on. So once I got into expert and beyond difficulty modes, I just wasn't really feeling the challenge that I was in games like in PUBG's training mode and that kind of thing. So I would like to see upward mobility of difficulty, and the sniping mode is a little bit bare for my liking. It really doesn't have a lot of bullet drops, so just improvement of the systems. And because it's early access, I think that there is definitely a lot of potential here for them to improve this tool, and it's something that I would put on my gaming laptop and take with me when I travel, so I don't really lose that basic motor function that you get by spending a lot of time playing games like I normally do when I am home. So if you're interested in checking out the Range Royale, it is now available on Steam. It just came out today. So what I'm looking for is your feedback on this. What kind of improvements do you think should go into this tool? What would you like to see from something like this? And just kind of your comments. So if you're interested in this tool, you can check it out on Steam. I'll leave a link down below. This is a sponsored video, so I wanted to say thank you to Gamer Sensei for reaching out and showing me this and letting me beta test it and provide my feedback. So leave a comment down below, leave a like if this video was helpful to you, and don't forget to check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/wtfmoses and on Twitter at wtfmoses. Thanks for taking the time to watch this, guys, and until next time, I'll see you out there.